And I think the reason that I want to start with this reading is because it's fall, and this always feels like a season of transition to me, whether it's a kind of back to school transition that you're in, or you're in another phase of life transition, and just things in the natural world are shifting and changing. And I think a lot of us tend to feel what is shifting and changing. And maybe our yoga practice can help us relate to our life transitions with some more grace. So this is the passage for this morning's practice, and it's titled The Road Between. To stand up and be worn to something deeper is a pledge that living forces us to keep. To stand up and be worn to something deeper is a pledge that living forces us to keep. I drove 500 miles down the California coast with the mountains on the left and the ocean on the right. For days they spoke to me of standing up and wearing down. Of course, I was driving a road we have made down the middle. During the fourth day, the road became a ribbon. It was here it was most beautiful. I found the world out there, all in here. And now I know the current of life requires us to stand up again and again. And we are not defeated when we are worn down, just exposed anew at a deeper level. We are meant to live between the two. In this way, life keeps getting more and more precious. It is a natural law like gravity or osmosis. Stand up to be worn bare. It is how everything in the way is thinned, so we can feel just how thoroughly alive we are. So you're going to come into your own aliveness now. It might begin with lengthening, moving the breath a little bit deeper up and down the length of your body. And as we come into the beginning of our practice, we do sometimes come right up face to face with the ways in which we are standing up currently, rising up, and also the ways in which we may feel worn down. Yoga recommends that we check in with this process and that we look at ourselves and our experience each time with tenderness, with compassion, knowing that bringing contempt or bringing rage or bringing comparison isn't going to be helpful. Sitting into yourself or resting into your own breath right now. See if you could become really interested in the transition moments of your breathing cycle. So the space where your inhale becomes your exhale, and your exhale flows back into your inhalation. You can sense or look at the ribbon of your own life, the path that you're on. You can imagine it winding like in this story between mountains and between ocean. Or you can bring in imagery from your own life experience. You can imagine that your breath is also traveling along this ribbon, this central path, in between the spaces where you have stood up and the places where you are worn down. Let's invite the ribbon of breath to now expand horizontally so that the breath almost seeps out both toward the mountains and toward the ocean. And the breath can infuse parts of you that are right now standing up, the parts of you that are right now wearing down. This is a natural life process. It's not a suggestion that we live our entire life in this ribbon in the middle. It is a possibility that coming into the stillness and the investigative nature of your breath and your body this morning might give you a sense of the preciousness of life. You've been here long enough to be called into situations where you need to stand up for something. Maybe it's yourself or someone else, or something that you believe needs your upright protection. And you've also had enough life experience to have some bits of yourself worn smooth. With reverence or with gratitude, with appreciation for that, let's join hands at hearts. This is Anjali Mudra. Bring the hands together at the heart. And we'll have a pranayama or a breathing practice here. So again, refocusing awareness to this ribbon of your breath. Only the quality of the ribbon now has sort of a soft and fuzzy edge, so that in addition to traveling vertically up and down your spine, the breath also expands and contracts horizontally. And what we'll do to move the breath is we'll inhale up to the top of the head, right up to the crown of the head, crown of the skull. And then we'll exhale down to the base of the spine. Settle into those transition moments where inhales and exhales are joined. And we'll begin to put a small breath retention in those pauses or in those joints of the breath. So at the top of your next inhale, hold the breath up at the crown of the head for a count of 4. Exhaling the breath out for a count of 8. Holding the breath out at the bottom of the spine for a count of 4. Inhaling up to the crown for a count of 6. Holding at the crown 4 counts. Exhaling to the base 8 counts. Holding the breath at the base of the spine 4 counts. Inhale to the crown 6 counts. You can continue at your own pace, and if the numbers that I've suggested don't allow your breath to be round and smooth, don't allow you to feel at ease in your body, feel free to modify to shorten or extend. Let's complete 3 more full cycles. Releasing all of your breath out. And take an inhale for a chant of Om. Om. Sensing once more the rhythm of your breath. Just letting it return to a natural flow. Release your hands and open your eyes. And we'll stay seated just for now. So if you want to reorganize your legs or the support under your hips, feel free to do that. Maybe recross your legs. I have a chat up in my chat box. I'm going to check it while you reorganize. Or sip water. Oh, the book was, it's my standard. It's the Book of Awakening. Thank you for checking. Thank you for holding me to cite my sources as I should do. Book of Awakening by Mark Nepo. We're going to sit in whatever is a comfortable seat. Your legs can be crossed, can be wide, can go out in front of the body. Something of your own design. This is for the upper body, for the shoulders and the spine and the breath. So on an inhale, sweeping the arms up and overhead. On an exhale, cactus your elbows. Spread your fingers, lift your sternum, lift your gaze. On an inhale, reach the arms high, lifting your rib cage up off your pelvis. And as you exhale, let's dive forward as we follow the belly and round the spine. And then reversing that action, inhale, sweeping the arms up alongside the ears. Exhale, cactus elbows. Soften shoulder blades down. Exhale, melting into the inhale, reach up. And exhale, curl and round inward, forward. Up a few more like this. Inhaling, lifting the entire rib cage. Exhale, melting through the shoulders, also the hinge of the jaw. And see whether the transitions, particularly those joints, as it were, in your movement, can be equally interesting. You can bring as much of your attention, tenderness. You can bring an investigative quality to those spaces. Be less concerned with sort of reaching an end point or final shape. And really letting ourselves take up space in the in-between places. Let's reach arms up and overhead one time more. And then join your palms, bring your hands to your heart in Anjali Mudra. Inhaling the arms back up and overhead. And on the exhale, take the left fingers down, the right arm arc over. Depending on the height of your seat, you might come down toward that left forearm. On the inhale, we're going to cactus now just through the right elbow. And if you'd like, you can look away, so gazing down toward the left thumb on the floor. And then as you exhale and reach again long through the top arm, you might spin your gaze up to see your tricep. So rise to center on the inhale, feeling solid through both hips. And now exhaling over to the right. As you inhale, cactus through the left arm, maybe gazing toward the left forearm, looking down toward the floor. And then the lengthening of the upper arm is when we'll turn the head to go up. Inhale to center. And we'll repeat that on each side. Coming up through center on your inhale. And as you exhale, take a twist to the left. On the inhale, turn your gaze toward the front of your mat and then keep looking till your chin lands over your right shoulder. And then as you exhale, we're going to spin right ear down toward the shoulder. So your nose goes up and your chin hovers over the center of your chest. Let's hold this and turn just the head again on the inhale, chin toward right shoulder. On the exhale, lifting the spine, sliding right ear down. And inhaling through center, unwind. And exhale, twist to your right. Inhale to bring the gaze forward over left shoulder. Exhale, tilting. And once you've come into the twist and you're starting to move just through the neck and through the head, you might find that there's a pathway that is more welcome. Find that there's a way in which your neck wants to move that's different than what I'm describing. Inhaling back to center, exhaling hands to the heart. And then releasing hands out in front of the body. Let's go to all fours and taking your blocks to the front of your mat. I'm going to take just a few rounds, moving freely on all fours, maybe to circle the spine or to drop the head. To send the hips back toward child's pose or forward into like a cobra shape. And pursue if it feels like it helps you keep your breath round and smooth. The places of transition, so the spaces or the joints in the movement. With equal integrity, equal compassion, with the absence of urgency. I'd also call to mind that ribbon of your breathing, which mimics the ribbon or the pathway of your life. And you need to feel a boost of strength, commitment, dedication. You can recall the times in your life when you stood up for something. Maybe it's currently happening right now. When you need reassurance that the ribbon of your life, your breathing continues to flow and to become more precious, you can recall the places or the times when you've been worn down. You can sense the way in which your body is still here, your breath is still here. Start to gather our movement towards center and towards stillness. You can reorganize your knees underneath your hips and your hands right underneath your shoulders. And then take your inhale to sink your spine down and tuck your toes under, and your exhale to lift up and back toward downward facing dog. We'll take 3 breath cycles in and out. With each of these consecutive breaths in downward facing dog, you could imagine your arms and legs like the mountains, steady parts of you. Imagine your breath with the fluidity of the ocean. Parts of you that have needed to be yielding or soft. Your awareness can be the ribbon that flows between. At the end of your 3rd exhale breath, take your feet forward to the top of your mat. Find Uttanasana, and I recommend that you find your blocks so you can press firmly down with your hands into your blocks in Uttanasana. Inhale to rise halfway. Exhale to bow. Inhale to rise halfway. Exhale as you bow. You can spread out your toes, root into your heels. This time we'll rise all the way up on the inhale. I'm working with a short ceiling, so you'll see my arms kind of take a variation, but you can sweep the arms up overhead if you'd like. And then on the exhale, let's lean over to the right for a side bend. Inhale, center. Exhale, left. Inhale, center. Exhale, we're going to side bend again to the right. Take your left foot and step it behind and across, bending into your right knee. Inhale here. Exhaling here. Let's inhale, step the left foot next to the right foot, come back to center. Notice where you wobble, and then exhale, we'll side bend to the left. So you inhale, put the weight into your left foot, and exhale, step your right foot across and behind, bending your left knee. Full breath in. All the way out. Inhale, stepping the feet together, rising back to center. Exhale, fold forward, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, stepping back to downward facing dog. Have your feet close together in this downward facing dog to prepare to transition to three-legged dog. So on your next inhalation, reach your right leg up and back. And as you exhale, step the right foot forward between your hands. And we can widen the feet right from left to create a little bit of a broader base of support here. And then on your inhale, sweep the arms high to come into your crescent lunge. You exhale here, lift the pubic bone toward the belly button, lift the back thigh bone, and cactus your arms out. And this will be just like we did seated. Inhale to reach up. And now exhale to dive forward. We have more space here, so if you'd like, you can sweep the arms all the way back behind you. And then inhale, rising up. Again, exhale, cactus the arms. Draw the front of the pelvis toward the belly button. Lift the left thigh toward the sky. Inhale, take the whole of the rib cage up. Exhale to sweep back. Do that one more time. This time as you inhale, reach through all of your fingers. And as you exhale, lower slowly the back knee all the way to the floor. From here, we're going to keep the back toes tucked unless that bothers your knee, in which case you can put the top of your foot down on the floor. And then we're going to find our blocks, and we'll bring those underneath the shoulders. So we have some height here and some lift. And then we're going to slide the hips back toward your left heel on the inhale, flipping the right toes up if you'd like. And on the exhale, coming back into the square of that right knee and draping the chest forward. Inhale back, lengthen through right, underside of the leg, exhale forward and down. You might find that you want to adjust your blocks here as you go. So in the fall in particular, having a practice that focuses a good bit of the energy downward when you take the gaze down, the chest down like this. It's helpful for calming and grounding Vata dosha. Come into the square of the right knee. And from here, you want to check in again that your blocks are really underneath your shoulders. We'll tuck this left toes under if they're not already. And on the inhale, lift the back knee. On the exhale, you're going to lift the right arm up to twist. And now on the inhalation, we're going to thread this right hand between the left upper arm and the right shin and reach toward the left toes as you straighten your right leg. That's a lot of things. Let's do it again. Exhale into your twist, hips descend, right arm reaches. Inhale, straighten through the front leg, Sweep the right fingers under towards your left toes. And 2 more like that. Exhaling to your twist. Inhaling your right hand to your block. Exhale, set your left knee down. Inhale, slide your right knee back. Exhale, child's pose. You can take the blocks with you or take your arms off the blocks, whichever you prefer. And back to the ribbon of your breath. Take a few moments in child's pose to let that settle. You can have a moment to listen with your right brain and with your body. When you're ready, sliding forward on your inhale. On your exhale, set the blocks to the top of your mat. Set your hands under your shoulders. Inhale, sink your spine and tuck your toes. Exhale, downward facing dog. Taking a few breaths here, beginning to gather your feet a little closer to one another. And on your inhale, reach your left leg up and back. On your exhale, step the left foot between your hands. Widen the feet left to right. Plant into that front foot firmly and inhale, rise up to crescent lunge. Exhale, cactus elbows, lift back thigh bone, draw pubic bone to the belly. Inhale, reach again through the arms and the back heel. Exhale, sweep forward and down. We'll take that a few times. And you know, if you've driven on the 101 in Oregon and you've taken the windy curves along the coastline, that there are parts of that scenic route where you really need to go quite slowly because it's so curvy. So if you want, you can slow down here, either in your breathing or in your movement, or both. Yoga is not an easy practice. We're going to give ourselves compassion. Go to an inhale to reach up, and then an exhale to slowly lower the right knee. And you will need your back foot to be far enough back so that when the knee comes down, you have verticality from your hip to your knee. Or, well, I realize now I have my handy screen to look at. It's not really vertical, but what we don't want is our back knee so far forward that it's hard to get to the floor, or harder than it may already be. So we come down to the floor. We'll take the blocks to support the shoulders. We'll inhale to hinge the hips back and maybe to lift the left toes for a little hamstring wake up. And then we'll exhale forward, and we're going to let the chest and the head, the heart drape toward the mat. Take a couple like this. If you notice that the hips are tending to sway over to the right as you lean back, you're going to draw this right outer hip crease towards your right heel. And even though I can't see you because of the format of today's practice, I can say that because your poses, your breathing, your attention is kind, is generous, is lovely. You could probably give yourself a little extra boost of compassion, appreciation. So now we're going to come into the bend of the left knee, or the square of the left knee. Tuck the back toes under. Lift the back knee. If you're still with me, I apologize for the momentary delay, but my screen told me that I have been signed out. So I'm going to come back in. Not sure who's signing into the Vista Wellness Center account, but let's see if it can't be me again. start my meeting. Start. So strange. Oh, hi. Yeah, thanks for letting me know about that. Well, I'm back. I'm really glad to know that. It's pretty disconcerting. I'm just going to hop back over there. Hi, Teresa. And we can pick up where we left off. Sorry for the unnecessary hiccups. Let's see if I can remember. Yeah, we have the left leg forward in the low lunge. We're going to lift the back knee up, toes tucked under, and then we're going to exhale to a twist to the left. We're going to inhale, straightening the left leg and arcing the left fingers toward the right toes underneath the body. Repeat this maybe 2 or 3 times, or until the seamless ribbon of your breath is able to come to the forefront of your attention. Inhale to return your left hand to your block. Exhale to set your right knee down. Inhale to step your left knee back. And this time, rather than hinging back, we're going to walk the hands up to the hips. And then you've got 3 options for your camel pose or Ustrasana. Option 1 is to reach for your own heels. Option 2 is to reach for your own back pockets or setting the fingers down toward the sitting bones. And option 3 is to place your 2 blocks outside your ankle bones and reach your fingertips back toward your blocks here. So finding the option that sustains your round and smooth breath. Lift the back of your waist up and away from the tailbone and the floor. Press your toes down. Lift your chest and broaden your collarbone. The exhales, maybe we can lift the front of the body, starting from the pubic bone and zipping all the way up. You might find that a transition from one shape becomes available to the next. So maybe the fingers that have been on the blocks walk their way onto the heels, or maybe hands that have been on the heels decide to move to the low back. One more breath here. And then exhale, chin in toward the chest as you stack up your spine, and we'll sit back on the heels in Vajrasana. You're welcome to sit back onto your block. Rest your hands in your lap. We're going to return to our pranayama practice. The inhale is going to rise up the spine. The exhale is going to travel down to the base. And first we're going to rest in this flow of the breath without the retention or without the holds, because the back bend practice of camel pose is up-regulating and it tends to accelerate the heart rate. So we want things to come back to homeostasis first. And then we'll start to add in those pauses in the breath cycle. When you sense your body arriving, might be like the point in the drive where you come to a familiar vista and you can just sort of sigh as you look out over the ocean or look at the mountains. When you're ready, the inhale is 6 counts. Hold 4 at the top. Exhale is 8 counts. And again, we'll hold 4 at the bottom. Let's continue with 3 rounds like this. Coming to the end of your last exhale. Breath all the way out. In your eyes, if they were closed. Slide forward to hands and knees. Inhale to tuck toes and sink the spine. Exhale to downward facing dog. And the feet are going to come a little closer together. And on your inhale, reach your right leg up and back. And this time, open and stack your hips, bending the right knee, drawing your right heel in toward that sitting bone, lifting the right knee up toward the sky. And at the same time, hug your left outer hip toward the midline. Press your left fingers and palm into the floor. Inhale, reach the right leg up and back. Exhale, step the right foot between your hands. Broaden the feet. Strengthen the foundation in your right leg. Inhale, rise to crescent lunge. And this time we're going to be exhaling to warrior two pose. And again, when you're in warrior two pose, let's gaze out over the right fingers and let's sense the legs like the mountains. So there is an energy and an aliveness down through the center of the heels, under the mounds of the big toes and the pinky toes. Let's see where you could invite a little bit of the softening, maybe to your shoulders, to your face. Flip your right palm to the sky and reach that right arm up. And on the exhale, coming over to extended side angle. In side angle pose, we're going to cactus the left elbow on the inhale. And exhale, reach the left arm long. And we'll inhale back to reverse or goddess warrior. Exhale to extended side angle. Inhale, cactus left elbow. You could gaze down if you like. Exhale, lengthen left arm. Maybe spin your eyes to see your left tricep. Let's do that one more time. Inhale, reverse. Exhale, side angle. Inhale, cactus. Exhale, gazing up. Inhale, reverse. This time, exhale, windmill to go all the way down. Step back into plank pose. Exhale, hug the heels of your hands toward your toes. And be your body recalling the memory of the time that you stood firm, you stood up, you persevered. We call this trait Kshama or forbearance. And then exhale, softening your body to the earth. Inhale, rise up onto your forearms for Sphinx pose. And on your exhale, let your chin melt into your chest. The weight of the thigh bones, the tops of the feet sink. A couple of circles, ear to shoulder, eyes settling into the skull. Press gently down into your forearms here and keep the feet awake. Keep the pubic bone pressing down so that you broaden your low back. It's really easy to sort of let the low back sink or hammock or turn into a soup bowl in these poses on the floor. So we can counteract that tendency by rooting the tailbone down, drawing the pubic bone up, and maybe even making a little bit of space between the low belly or the front of the pelvis and the floor. And then the back bend moves from the low back more into the middle spine, upper spine. So exhale to go all the way down to Makrasana or crocodile pose. Widen the legs, rest your head on your hands. 3 breaths here. Sensing the verticality and also the way that your breath can start to shift or seep horizontally out toward the ribs, the outer hips, the pinky toes. your hands back alongside your body. Inhaling up through your choice of back bend. Maybe it's an upward facing dog. Maybe it's a cobra pose or a sphinx pose again. And then exhale to come back to downward facing dog. Gather your feet together. On the inhale, reach the left leg up and back. On the exhale, open and stack your hips. Let the left heel drift toward the left sitting bone. Reach through that left inner thigh so the knee goes up toward the ceiling. And then hug your right outer hip in toward midline. Hollow out your right armpit as you press the right palm print into the floor. Scoop the rib cage up toward the sky. Reach the left leg up and back on your inhale. Exhale, step the left foot between your hands. Establishing yourself in your solid base of support. Inhale, rise to crescent lunge. Exhale, we'll open out to warrior two on the second side. Take your gaze out over the left fingers. And here, please invite your spine to lengthen as you inhale, and then to maintain the length as you exhale, even as your shoulders could soften. Let's turn the left palm to the sky and inhale, goddess warrior. Exhale to extended side angle pose. Inhale, drawing the elbow on the right arm into cactus, gazing down. And exhale, spinning your gaze up as you reach the right arm over the ear. We have two more like that. Inhale, reverse. Exhale, side angle. Inhale, cactus. Exhale, reach. You're reaching also through the right footprint. One last time. Inhale to goddess warrior. Exhale to cartwheel hands down to the floor. Inhale, step back into plank pose. Exhale, turn the legs and the arms, the belly. Lift from the base of the skull. One more inhale here. And exhale, softening the body all the way down into the earth. Inhale, coming forward into sphinx pose. Exhale, lion's breath. Inhale, root the tops of your feet, your pubic bone down. Exhale, lion's breath. One more time. Inhale, root the tops of the thigh bone. Exhale, melt all the way down to Makrasana. 3 breath cycles here. Making your way over onto your back body. You can keep one of your blocks within reach. We're going to put the block between the thighs, just above the knees. When you come down onto your back, you'll hold that block. You can put it at any width between the legs, whatever feels comfortable for your hips. And take your arms out wide and slightly lower than the shoulders. Arms have this tendency to creep up a little higher and a little higher and a little higher. So take your fingers lower than your shoulders. Draw your knees in towards your chest. And then on the inhale, set the knees right above the hips. Exhale, we're going to let the legs melt to the left. And they'll go maybe 75, 85% of the way, just not quite all the way down. Then inhale here, see if you can melt your right shoulder blade to the floor. Exhale, knees come back over the hips. Let's inhale to take the knees the other way. I'm only going to bump my position because I'm running into a couch here. Hopefully you won't need to. And if you do, that's okay. Exhale, knees come back over hips. Inhale, legs to the left. Exhale, center. Keep going at your own pace. Maybe your breath is taking up a little bit more space. Maybe the rhythm of your breath gets longer or gets deeper. You can take more than one breath cycle in any of these spaces. In your time through the transitions. Next time that the knees are over to the left, let's take the legs all the way down to the floor if they are willing to go. And if not, you could put a block, maybe your second block under the left knee so that you have some support here. And you're invited to take the right leg, the top leg out long. Flex the sole of the right foot so it's pointing straight in front of you. You're reaching through your toes, reaching long through your arms, your fingers. As you exhale, spin the belly to the right. Maybe turn your gaze to the right. Inhale, let's rebend the right knee. Exhale, bring the knees to center. Give yourself a squeeze. A little roll. Side to side rock, forward and backward. Sensing what would feel good here. And we'll take the arms back out and the legs to the right. You can prop the knees up. Extend, reach long through the top leg. Flex at the foot, drawing the toenails back toward the shin. You can invite a little more space to come into the left hip. Like you could reach your left sitting bone down toward the bottom of your mat. Feel the ribbon of your breath, but on its spool the tension that may have accumulated from the times that we need to stand firm against the erosional forces of life. One more inhale. And exhale, rebend the left leg, draw your knees into center, give yourself a squeeze. As you inhale, you're going to reach both arms to the sky and both feet to the sky. And I'm going to amend that to say both arms up and back toward the floor behind you, both feet to the sky. And then exhale as you bend your knees and lower your arms down by your sides. Just waking up a little more through the backs of the legs here, linking the breath and the movement. Inhale, reach up, flex your ankles, spread through your fingers and toes. Exhale, bend the knees, lower the arms. Let's do that one more time. And this time, letting the arms come down, letting the feet come down one and then the other. Press into your footprints, press into your palms to lift your hips up for bridge pose. And if you'd like, you can have your block come to support your sacrum, maybe a supported bridge. If you prefer the bridge without the block, both of these are good options. You can also start to wiggle the shoulders under the body, one at a time. I find that it's often really helpful here to tip the chin away from the chest just by a small degree so that we create that nice curve at the back of the neck, that space between the back of your neck and the floor. And drawing the heels in toward the sitting bones and lengthening the fronts of the thighs toward the kneecaps. See if you can find the solidness of the mountain in the inner edge of your feet. See if your fingers and toes could be softened by the smooth, round shape of your breathing. Take one more inhale here. And then exhale, lowering, first touching the sitting bones down so you maintain that little scoop under the low back. And And then pressing into the skull, sliding the shoulders, the mid back, the low back into the floor. We're going to go to half happy baby. So here we'll take the left foot into the left hand. And if the foot and the hand are not going to join each other today, you can hold your ankle, hold your shin bone. We're going to bring this left knee up toward the left armpit. And then you may keep your right leg bent or extend it out toward the bottom edge of your mat. Either way, we're looking for a solid contact point between the back of the right hip and the outer right thigh bone, rather than tilting over onto the left side of the body and lifting that right hip up. So again, here you're going to flex your ankle, spread out your toes, press the sole of your foot up toward the sky as you simultaneously are drawing the knee down toward the armpit, opening the inner line of the left thigh, the groin, the adductors. Take an inhale here. And then as you exhale, if you'd like, kicking that left leg longer. Inhale, rebend the knee. Exhale, kick it long. Inhale, rebend. Exhale, draw the knee in and up toward the chest. Give it a good squeeze. Let that left foot flop around. Maybe circle the ankle. And then let it plop down onto the floor. And we'll change sides. So right foot coming into happy baby. Left sitting bone, left hip heavy to the earth. If it helps, you can spin the belly a little bit to the left, like if your belly button was an eye, it's looking towards your left hip point. The left arm is out beside you as a little counterbalance. See if you can receive the breath all the way down in the low belly, fully receiving your inhales, fully releasing your exhales. You have the inclination to do so. Lengthen your left leg. Kick the right leg towards straight on the inhale. Exhale, rebend. Inhale, press the right leg straight and long. Exhale, rebend. Last time, inhale, reaching out through both footprints. Exhale, rebend. Draw that right knee into the chest. Give it a squeeze. Relax the ankle and maybe circle clockwise and counterclockwise. And then plop that right leg down. Bring your left leg in to meet it. We're going to roll onto the left side. Come upright, just so that we can set up a heart opener over the blocks before Shavasana. So here's what it looks like. You see where my block is? I have the one block going lengthwise, so matching the length of my mat. It's on the lowest setting. I'm going to put the second block. This is my personal preference, is to have both of mine at the same height, but I recommend as a starting point that your horizontal second block is on its medium setting, so you can kind of ease into this. And what I'm going to do as I lay back over the blocks is I'm going to put the bottom edge of the first block kind of right at the band of where my bra is, or right at the base of the shoulders, or right at the base of the rib cage rather. And then the second block is for my head. So I am in a back bend here, but it's a supported one. I like to take feet wide and let the knees drape together. And once you're here, if you want to explore, then you can always turn that second block down to a lower setting. Rest hands onto the belly. None of this feels comfortable. You can always set the blocks aside and go right to Shavasana. You can also try padding your blocks with a folded blanket. You're welcome to close your eyes here. Listen to the breathability that you're creating. Each breath is an opportunity to send a message to your brain. And you might choose to send the message to your brain of recalling a moment where you have stood steady and tall, you've remained rooted or practiced kshama, forbearance. You need to be reminded of your strength or your dedication or your commitment. The brain receive that. If it feels more aligned with what you're needing this morning, to recall the times that you've allowed maybe the ocean waves to kind of smooth and soften rough edges. You've been worn down, but not in the way of giving up. We sort of look at the word surrender with a negative connotation oftentimes, but in the world of yoga, we look at a surrender as recognition of a larger force than ourselves. Sometimes sinking or coming home into that recognition is really necessary for the well-being of the brain and the body. Please remind yourself as you breathe and as you rest here of both of these qualities. They're both installed in your hardware. You have these inherent abilities to dwell in both of these places. The rhythm of your breath gets to connect the two of them. Feeling comfortable where you are on your blocks, feel free to stay. If you'd like to transition off the blocks, you can slowly roll to your side, move the blocks off of your mat and come into Shavasana, sensing the new landscape of your body meeting the floor. Observing the transition the body makes, and the breath makes. Asatoma Satgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om. Shri Guru Pyo Namaha. Hari Om. Fill your body with breath. Let it go. Do this again. Fill your body with breath. And let it go. And begin to move in whatever way feels good for you for now. This is a transition moment. you to hold yourself in compassionate, tender care. We begin to move toward your upright seat. You're invited to bring with you either that softness of surrender, or the steadiness of your commitment, the ways that you've stood up, the ways that you've been softened, been worn down. You can, of course, bring both. You, of course, are both. As you come into your upright seat, join your hands at your heart in Anjali Mudra. Stand up and be worn to something deeper. It's a pledge that living forces us to keep. So here we are still. Appreciation for that. Let's join in a cleansing breath and an Om to close our practice. Inhale through your nose. Sigh out. Thanks so much for being here and sharing your practice today.